Hello, everyone. Welcome to Learn English podcast.
How to learn English at home in 6 months. Learn English through podcast. Learning English at home in 6 months may sound like an impossible dream for many young learners, but the truth is that with the right mindset, smart strategies, and daily consistency, you can make amazing progress even without leaving your house. And I want you to imagine that the next 6 months of your life could completely transform the way you speak, understand, and think in English. Because learning a language is not about luck or talent, it's about using your time wisely and surrounding yourself with English every single day. And that's what this story is about, because I want to guide you step by step through how you can turn your home into your personal English school, your phone into your English teacher, and your time into your biggest opportunity to grow. And I'm telling you this not as a theory, but as something that thousands of young people have already done. People who couldn't afford to study abroad, who didn't have native teachers, but who had one thing: determination. And that determination helped them change their lives in only 6 months. So if they could do it, so can you. And everything starts with your mindset. Because before we talk about apps, tools, or techniques, you must decide that English is not something you will try to learn. It is something you will commit to learning. Because when you make that decision, every day becomes an opportunity. Every mistake becomes a lesson. And every small improvement becomes motivation to keep going. And that mindset is your foundation. Once you have that, your 6-month plan becomes powerful. The first thing you must do is create your English environment at home, because the best way to learn any language is immersion. And even if you can't travel to an English-speaking country, you can create an English world right where you live. Change the language setting on your phone, your laptop, your games, and even your social media to English. Because when you start seeing and reading English every day, your brain begins to adapt naturally, and without even noticing, you start thinking in English. Next, surround yourself with English sounds, because the more you hear, the faster you learn. Every morning while getting ready, play English podcasts, motivational talks, or English songs. When you do this, you are training your ears, your brain, and your memory all at the same time. In the beginning, it might feel confusing and you might not understand everything, but that's okay. Your brain is still listening and learning patterns. The secret is consistency. If you do this every day for 6 months, your ears will become sharper and you'll start catching words, phrases, and expressions automatically. Now, to build your speaking skill, you need to understand one simple truth. No one becomes fluent by only listening or reading. You must speak, even if no one is listening. So here's what you do. Every day, stand in front of a mirror and talk about your day in English. Describe what you did, how you feel, and what your goals are. It doesn't matter if your grammar isn't perfect or if you repeat the same words. What matters is that you are using your voice. Record yourself, listen again, and try to improve your pronunciation little by little. You can also shadow English videos. That means you listen to someone speaking and repeat what they say at the same time, matching their rhythm, accent, and tone. It might feel strange at first, but it's one of the fastest ways to sound natural. And if you feel shy to speak alone, use apps like Hello Talk, Tandem, or even ChatGPT, where you can have real conversations with people or AI anytime you want. Don't worry about making mistakes. That's how you grow. If you can practice speaking at least 30 minutes every day, you'll be amazed at how much confidence you build in just a few months. Listening and speaking are powerful, but vocabulary is your engine. The more words you know, the more confident you feel, and the more fluent you become. So create your own English dictionary, not a big book, but a small notebook or phone note where you write down 5 new words every day. Learn them deeply, not just their meanings, but how to use them in sentences. Use them in your daily conversations, your mirror talks, your journal entries. For example, if today you learned the word challenge, don't just memorize it, say it. Today, learning English is my challenge, but I will win. This active use of vocabulary helps your memory. And to make learning fun, use apps like Quizlet or Anki, which let you make flashcards and test yourself through games. When learning becomes fun, you'll never feel bored. The next skill you must train is listening because it connects all parts of language together. Start with simple English content like podcasts made for learners, ESLP Pod, BBC Learning English, or English Class 101. Listen to the same episode many times. At first, you may understand 30%, then 60%, then 90%. That improvement will give you motivation. As your listening improves, move on to more natural English, YouTube channels, vlogs, or TED Talks. If you can, use subtitles. First, read along with English subtitles, then listen again without them. This trains your brain to understand English naturally, not by translating in your head, but by thinking directly in English. The more you listen, the more you feel the rhythm of the language, and soon your own speaking becomes smoother. To improve your reading and writing, make reading part of your daily life. Read articles about topics you love, sports, music, science, or success stories. You can start with simple English books or websites like News and Levels that give stories written for different English levels. When you read, don't worry about understanding every word. Focus on the main idea. Highlight new words and look them up later. And then write. Writing is how you organize your thoughts in English. Start a simple English journal. Write what you did today, what you learned, and what you plan for tomorrow. At first, your sentences might be short and simple. That's okay. What matters is practice. Over time, your sentences will grow longer, your grammar will improve, and your confidence will rise. You can also use Grammarly to check and correct your writing. Every mistake it shows is a new lesson. The most important thing in your 6-month journey is your daily plan. Success doesn't happen overnight. It happens through small, consistent actions. Create a routine that fits your life. For example, in the morning, spend 20 minutes listening to a podcast. In the afternoon, study new vocabulary or read a short article. In the evening, practice speaking for 30 minutes. Before bed, review what you learned. That's 1 hour or less per day. But if you do that for 6 months, that's more than 180 hours of English learning, more than most students get in school. The secret is not the number of hours, but how consistent you are. Even if you study for just 15 minutes a day, do it every day without skipping. The brain loves habits. When you make English part of your daily life, it becomes natural. Another key is to use technology wisely. Your phone can distract you or it can teach you. The choice is yours. Follow English-speaking YouTubers, English learning Instagram pages, or motivational speakers like Denzel Washington, Steve Jobs, or Jack Ma, and listen to their speeches in English. Watch English movies with subtitles. Change your social media feeds to English content. Join online English communities, Facebook groups, or Discord servers where people discuss topics in English. When you surround yourself with the language, you create what I call the English bubble. And inside that bubble, your brain adapts faster. You begin to think, react, and even dream in English. And let's not forget about your motivation. 6 months is not short. There will be days when you feel tired, days when you doubt yourself, and days when progress feels slow. That's normal. Every learner feels that. What separates those who succeed from those who quit is persistence. When you feel tired, listen to English motivation videos. Remind yourself why you started. Maybe you want to study abroad, get a better job, travel the world, or simply become more confident. Keep that reason close to your heart. Motivation is like a fire. If you don't feed it, it dies. Feed it every day by celebrating small wins. Every new word, every correct sentence, every moment you understand the podcast, that's progress. Finally, after 6 months of doing all this, listening, speaking, reading, writing, practicing, and staying consistent, you will look back and realize how far you've come. You'll understand English conversations better. You'll speak with more confidence. You'll write without fear. And you'll feel proud because you did it all from home. You didn't need to go abroad or pay for expensive schools. You used your time, your energy, and your determination. That's the power you already have. English is not just a language, it's a bridge to new opportunities. When you speak English, the world becomes bigger. You can learn from anyone, go anywhere, and express who you truly are. So start today. Don't wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is now. 6 months from now, your future self will thank you. Now that you already understand the power of commitment and daily practice, let's go even deeper into how you can make your 6 month journey at home truly effective. Because learning English from home is not just about watching videos or repeating words. It's about creating an English environment right where you are, even if nobody around you speaks English. And the secret is immersion. When you surround yourself with English, your brain slowly begins to think in English, and that's when real progress happens. So start by changing the small things in your daily life. Switch your phone language to English. Make your social media feeds English only. Listen to English songs and even label objects in your room with English names. Because these tiny actions make English a natural part of your day. And every time you see or hear it, your brain gets a little bit more comfortable. And in 6 months, these small efforts will turn into big results. And another powerful technique is creating a learning schedule that fits your lifestyle, because success in learning English at home doesn't come from studying 10 hours one day and then taking a week off. It comes from studying 1 hour every day with focus and excitement. So decide your English hours, maybe early in the morning when your mind is fresh, or at night when the world is quiet, and dedicate that time only to English. And during that time, put your phone on silent, close all distractions, and make it your English world. Because consistency builds habits, and habits build fluency. And when you make English your daily habit, you start improving even when you don't realize it. And I know many young learners sometimes feel bored or lose motivation, especially when learning at home. But here is where creativity and technology come to help. Because there are so many ways to make learning fun and exciting. For example, you can start listening to podcasts about topics you love, maybe stories, motivation, business, sports, or movies. And that's why Learn English through podcasts is so powerful, because it helps you listen to natural English while enjoying real topics. And the more you listen, the more your brain recognizes common patterns, sentence structures, and pronunciation. And after a few weeks, you'll be surprised at how much you understand without translating in your head. That's a sign that your brain is beginning to think in English. And another great method is shadowing, which means listening to a speaker and repeating what they say at the same time, copying their tone, rhythm, and accent, because shadowing trains your mouth and your brain together. And even if you make mistakes, it's okay, because your goal is to get used to the natural flow of English speech. And you can do this with podcasts, TED Talks, or YouTube videos, and it's one of the fastest ways to sound more fluent and confident. And another powerful daily habit is journaling in English, which means writing about your day, your goals, or even your thoughts every night before you sleep. And at first, you might write very simple sentences like, "Today I studied English," or "I watched a movie." But day by day, you'll start adding more words, more details, and more confidence. And when you look back after 6 months, you'll be amazed at how far your writing has come. Because writing is not only about grammar, it's about expressing yourself and practicing thinking in English. And if you don't know how to start, you can use AI chat tools like ChatGPT to correct your sentences or suggest better phrases. And that's how you learn naturally, by doing. And one more powerful method you can use at home is watching movies or series in English, but not just for entertainment. You must watch with purpose. So first, choose a show you love. Then turn on English subtitles. And as you watch, pause and repeat lines you find interesting and write down new vocabulary. Then try to use that vocabulary in your daily speech or writing, because that's how you make new words yours. And if you watch 20 to 30 minutes of English content every day, in 6 months, your listening and vocabulary will grow like never before. And another key is to practice speaking even if you are alone. And I know it sounds strange to talk to yourself, but it's actually one of the best techniques. For example, when you're doing your morning routine, you can describe what you're doing in English. "I'm brushing my teeth." "I'm preparing breakfast." "I'm going to study." And this simple exercise trains your brain to connect English with your actions. And soon it becomes automatic. And when you speak to real people, words will come out more easily. And if you want to make speaking practice more fun, you can use voice recording apps to record yourself speaking about any topic for 1 minute a day, and then listen back to hear your mistakes and pronunciation. And when you compare your first recording with your recording after 6 months, you'll be amazed at how much clearer and more confident your voice becomes. And besides that, you can also find online speaking partners using free apps like HelloTalk, Tandem, or Speaky, where you can chat or talk with English learners from other countries. And this is an amazing way to make friends, learn cultures, and practice English in a safe, friendly environment. And you can even create your own English group online with your friends, where you speak only English together once a week, maybe on Zoom or Discord, because teamwork helps you stay motivated and accountable. And another useful tip for home learners is to focus on your pronunciation early, because pronunciation is the bridge between knowing English and being understood. And you don't need a teacher for that. You can use pronunciation apps like Elsa Speak or Youglish to hear how words are pronounced by real speakers, then imitate them again and again. And after a while, you'll start speaking more naturally. And don't forget the importance of reading, because reading is like fuel for your English brain. And you can start small. children's books, comic books, short stories, or even English blogs about your hobbies, because when you read something you enjoy, you'll keep reading more, and that builds vocabulary, grammar, and imagination at the same time. And the secret to reading is not to stop at every word you don't know. Just keep reading, understand the main idea, and your brain will fill in the gaps. And then you can check new words later. Because fluency grows from context, not just memorization. And if you want a fun challenge, try reading aloud for 10 minutes every day because it improves your pronunciation, confidence, and rhythm all at once. And when you read, listen, write, and speak every day, even for short times, you're using all four language skills together. And that's how real learning happens. And remember, 6 months is not a long time, but it's long enough to make a big transformation if you are consistent. Because language learning is like building a house. Every word you learn is a brick. Every sentence you speak is a wall. And every habit you build becomes the foundation of your fluency. And by the end of 6 months, you won't just know English, you will live in English because it will be part of your thoughts, your dreams, your daily actions, and your goals. And when you reach that level, you'll realize that learning English at home was not just about language, it was about building discipline, confidence, and a new mindset that will help you in everything you do in life. In conclusion, learning English at home in just 6 months is not a dream. It's a choice. You don't need to travel, you don't need expensive teachers, and you don't need perfect conditions. All you need is your phone, your motivation, and your daily commitment to practice. Remember, every small effort adds up. Every word you learn, every podcast you listen to, every sentence you speak brings you closer to fluency. The key is consistency, not perfection. Use the tools around you, technology, videos, music, and conversation, and turn your home into your English world. Believe in your potential, stay focused, and never give up. 6 months from now, you won't just speak English better. You'll be more confident, more disciplined, and ready to chase bigger dreams. So start today and let every day move you one step closer to the fluent English speaker you are meant to become.